They may have had to start a little bit early, but that didn't have any effect on the Marshall Thundering Herd. They were hot from three from the get-go as they set a new school record. We'll talk about it next on Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. Every game during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, South Alabama went on a massive run at the end of the first half, beginning of the second half, to take control against JMU, and then had to hang on for dear life because they couldn't hit a free throw. And South Alabama's Devin Voisin, the record holder for most games played as a Jaguar, 67. He's get to play one more time in the bank at Hancock Whitney Stadium. He'll play in the Senior Bowl, so congratulations to him. But due to the weather incoming, we had some early starts on Thursday, including Marshall against ULM, which was a noon start. All right. When I saw a tweet earlier, I thought it was a 4-point ball game at half. It was not. Marshall wins this ball game 115-60 over ULM, scoring 65 points in the first half. They led ULM 65-36. I think I thought when I saw the score, I thought ULM was ahead. I thought it was 36-35 because I saw it quickly and probably wasn't paying too much attention. But then I went back to it, and it was 65-36, as I believe they hit 15 threes in the first half. They hit a school record 26 threes, the most threes that have been made in 2 decades. Is it ironic? No, it's not ironic or a coincidence. It just is one of those things. Troy, I guess it was ULM it would be. Troy, I believe I saw, has the record for threes in a ball game, which is 28. Just to let you know how good Marshall was in both halves, or how bad ULM was, either way, Marshall scored more in the first half than ULM did all game. In fact, if you just took the second half, if you just took Marshall's second half, they just lost by 10. If you take Marshall's first half, they won the game by 5. I'm sure Coach Jackson wishes he could either start noon games all the time or bottle this one up. And one of their leading scorers, Noah Schutte, had 4 points. He was 2 of 10, 0 of 4 from 3. He had a bad basketball game offensively, and they still scored 115 points. And yet, nobody scored 20. How about that? Dubinsky had 17. Fricks had 15. Hollenbeck had 15. Jalen Speer had 14. Joseph off the bench had 12. Now, everybody scored, which is a neat trick. But they were 26 out of 52 from three-point land. That is unprecedented, obviously. They made 41 out of 76 total. But what a game for Marshall, as they just pounded ULM from the get-go. And, Marshall just kept on moving back, and keep on hitting them from deep. It's not like ULM wasn't trying to cover them, but an unbelievable ball game by Marshall. They improved to, let me get the record straight, 13-7 overall, 5-3 in the Sun Belt. The other early ball game was App State and the Cajuns. Cajuns already have postponed their game against ODU on Saturday, I believe. But App State had a 1-point lead at half, and then I guess blows out UL 72-58. And again, not to shoot strays or anything like that, but again, Marshall had 65 points in the first half. I believe the Cajuns have scored 65 points 5 times this year, only twice in wins. That's more about Marshall than the Cajuns, but it's a little bit about the Cajuns because they just have all kinds of issues scoring, and now no Joshua Lewis. They're going to be in trouble. They have 5 wins. They need to get to 7, or at least, they got to get 2 more wins to avoid setting a record for futility for wins. Not sure what to make out of this App State ball club. The thing is, they're good defensively, but that is usually a recipe. If you are a little bit off offensively, you're going to lose. And they've just played roller coaster basketball all season long. They do defeat the Cajuns 72-58. App State improves to 12-9, 5-4 in the Sun Belt. Cajuns fall to 5-16, 3-6 in the Sun Belt. Elsewhere, you do have a Georgia State. I don't know if this has come from a head victory. Kind of had most of the second half, and then had to hang on for dear life. They do defeat Southern Miss 69-62. Georgia State overall is 8-12, but they're 5-3, right? So they have been much, much better in the Sun Belt than they were, pre-conference schedule, right? So they were, again, 3-8, and now overall, and now they are 8-12, but 5-3 in the Sun Belt. Southern Miss hitting the skids a little bit. They fall to 11-10, 5-4 in the Sun Belt. 69-62 is your final score there. We can dive into that box score just a little bit. We'll go back to the Cajuns box score here in a second. Let's see here. Georgia State, neither team shot it well. Southern Miss 38%, Georgia State 36%. Free throws, difference in this ball game. Georgia State 21 out of 29. Southern Miss 13 out of 19. And rebounding was a big difference in this one as well. 45-30. Georgia State dominating on the glass. So that's the big difference in that ball game. Although, interestingly enough, Southern Miss led at one point by 11, and Georgia State at one point led by 13. That's a huge swing. That's a huge swing. All right, going back to that Cajuns ball game for a second, or I guess in this case, App State, since they won the game. Let's look at those stats here quickly. All right, App State shot it very well. Not the good defense that the Cajuns usually do. App State shot it 52%, shot 45% from 3. They made 13 3-pointers. Neither team went to the free throw line, although the Cajuns shot it well, 8 out of 9. App State was 9 out of 15. They also dominated on the boards, 39-24. Although, interestingly enough, they kind of split the time leading. Like the Cajuns led in this ball game 45% of the time. Didn't have necessarily big leads, but they led for almost half the game. App State did build an 18-point lead in the second half. All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll talk about South Alabama's mid-game run that happened against JMU and then having to hang on for dear life. All right, we will do that after I tell you about FanDuel. FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts. You can apply to the bets you like most. Open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boosts you want to apply. The boosts let you lean into your game day instincts, whether you're backing momentum, defense, quarterback play, or coaching. The boosts give you more juice on the bets you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new. Every play feels bigger, and the boosts make your bets feel that way too. Make your picks, then apply your profit boosts to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. All right, Dave Schultz, Lockdown Sun Belt, your teams every day. All right, South Alabama survives. JMU. It's the only one I had. Oh, there we go. 90-83. All right. The game wasn't particularly that close. It was close in the first half. Halftime, JMU led 40-36. Jags get off to an 11-0 start. That ran out to 21-5. But the run actually started about the 4-minute mark, like South Alabama of the first half, I should say. JMU was on the verge of blowing South Alabama out, and they just went cold. It's one of those odd things. You never know when runs are going to start. And this one absolutely started in the first half. JMU had gone on a little mini 8-2 run to make it a 38-29 game. So that's a 9-point game, 4:33 left to go. South Alabama went on an 18-2 run after that. They went from down 38-29 to up 47-40. And it went further on than that. And they were doing that without their leading scorer, Chaz Harris, in the ballgame due to fouls. He didn't come in until the 12-minute mark, 8 minutes into the second half. So, again, it was 47-40. And then it got all the way to 57-45. So the second half was even a 21. There's a 21-5 run in the second half. So what does that make it, right? So 29-57. That's a 28-5 run from 4:33 of the first half to 12:02 of the second half. And South Alabama was mostly in control of this ball game until two things happened. JMU started hitting a bunch of threes, and they did. They were down 76-61. 76-61, and I don't think there was that much time left, to be honest with you. 4:04 left to go. I'd love to know what time on the clock that was because the last 4 minutes of this game took forever. Chaz Harris makes a layup with 4:04 left to go. JMU South Alabama calls the timeout, is what it says on the play-by-play. And this game took forever. So with 4:04 left to go, it's a 15-point ball game. South Alabama is in control. It got down to a 4-point game with 2 minutes left to go. It took less than 2 minutes to go from down 16 to down 15. If I got that right, we could do. My understanding is that there would be no math. Down 15. They cut a 15-point deficit down to 4 in less than 2 minutes. 2:10 left to go. Cliff Davis hits a three, makes it 78-74. But finally, J.J. Wheat hits a couple of free throws, makes another free throw. He made 2 more free throws. They finally, Chaz Harris did make a couple of free throws, but they got Chaz Harris out of there. He kept on missing free throws. And that's what kept JMU in the ball game. At one point in time, I believe South Alabama was 10 out of 15 from the free throw line. They finished they finished 24 out of 39. So what's that? That's 14 out of 25. That's not great. 24. 14 out of 24. They missed 10 free throws down the stretch. They missed 15 in the second half. Ouch. Right? That could have been a much more decisive victory on the road. JMU struggling. I don't mind that South Alabama didn't have a field goal in the last 4:04 because they kept on getting fouled. Right? But a win is a win, I guess. But obviously, the free throws we'd like to see improve a little bit. Adam Olson had a big ball game, 26 points for South Alabama. Harris finished with 15, 5 of 11 from the line. Cooper had 14. Wheat had 17. How about Randy Brady? Not only he took 8 shots. Like that's got to be a Randy Brady Brady record. Made 3 of them. He made 2 3-pointers. Did foul out, but he had 9 points and 3 rebounds and 1 assist. McBride kept JMU in it, 9 out of 12 and 5 of 6 from three-point land. Cliff Davis struggled from three-point land, 4 of 16. Turns out you make a couple of more of those, you got a ball game. But that was where the issues were as South Alabama's zone made the adjustments. All right. So South Alabama, they improve. They got to be 5. Are they 5-3? They're 5-3. Improved to 14-6 overall. James Madison 9-11. They dropped to 2-6. Arkansas State had a close ball game with Georgia Southern in the first half. Not so much in the second half. Red Wolves go into Statesboro and blow out Georgia Southern 85-68. Guys, please tell me if somebody is hurt for Georgia Southern, because, all of a sudden they've gone from 9 in a row, winners of 9 in a row. I don't care who you played. Winners of 9 in a row to losing 3 out of 4. And 2 of those ball games to the better teams in the conference, they got blown out. South Alabama blew them out, and now Arkansas State just blows them out. They did squeak past Old Dominion and lost to Coastal Carolina. So they've lost 3 out of 4. They have hit the skids in a big way. Let's see how this game was. Arkansas State shot 49%, Georgia Southern 35. Arkansas State with a 10 3-pointers and 19 out of 23 from the free throw line. Didn't even give Georgia Southern, who was 17 out of 26 from the free throw line, a chance. Rebounding close, 42-38. Although Georgia Southern had 6 more offensive rebounds in the ball game. Arkansas State with 18 assists to just 5. They do such a great job of moving the ball and sharing the ball. Turnovers, though, were an issue. 17 turnovers is probably a little bit too much. So, but again, Arkansas State is right there as well. One of the more exciting ball games and a tough finish for Texas State. Coastal Carolina comes away with a 72-70 victory, down 70-69. Rashid Jones fouled shooting a 3-pointer. Doesn't hit 1, doesn't hit 2, hits all 3. Hits 3 free throws as Texas State fouls a 3-point shooter at the end of the ball game, and Coastal Carolina comes away with a 72-70 victory. How about that? That's a crazy victory right there for Coastal Carolina. And I think they're in the middle of things too. I think they're 5-4. I think they've played one more extra ball game as it goes. Let's see if we get back to the standings page. Coastal Carolina is 5-4. They improved to 12-9. Texas State drops to 4-5. They are 11-10. So I think I've got them all in here. So let's check out the standings, shall we? Troy's still going to be up top 7-1, but now all these teams are 5-3. They're tied for second. South Alabama, Arkansas State, Marshall, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, all 5-3. Really impressive. App State 5-4, Coastal Carolina 5-4, Southern Miss 5-4. Then it falls off a little bit. Texas State 4-5, Old Dominion 3-6. Well, the Cajuns are 3-6. They got that win over South Alabama. And James Madison drops to 2-6. Monroe struggling 3-17 overall, 0-8, and an embarrassing 115-60 loss. All right, so we do have games on Friday, or maybe a game. Let's see what we got here. App State is hosting Monroe, and we'll see. The weather seems to be changing, as they say, a fluid situation. You're watching this on Friday, okay? Earlier in, I'd say late last week, Louisville was supposed to get nothing, like the northern part of the storm. Then we're going to get anywhere from 18 inches to 24 feet, or 24 inches, 18 to 24 inches. And then now it's down to 8 to 12. So we'll see. This thing keeps on moving north, may land on Mama Schultz's head in Syracuse. Hopefully she'll be all right. So we'll see what happens with all these ball games. We're hoping for maybe a couple of days off from work and be able to watch that AFC Championship game, but we'll be fine either way. All right, big news in Mobile. Probably should have mentioned this. We got 2.5 Sun Belt players going to play in the Senior Bowl. Ted Hurst was the first one from Georgia State, and now Devin Voisin is going to play one more last game at the Bank. We'll talk about that when we come back, right after I tell you about TurboTax and the Everydayer Club. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever just to hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person and connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction. You can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in if a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year. Just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. And the Everydayer Club. Thank you for making Locked On Sunbelt your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already love Sunbelt sports every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club and get Locked On Sunbelt with no interruptions, members only, for all just $5 a month or $50 a year. Go to LockedOnSunbelt.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Before we move on, did record, as they say, I got 4 baseball coaches in the can. All right. ULM, Arkansas State, South Alabama, and ODU. All right. I got 3 more lined up. I got a couple of more waiting to find out. Maybe even 3 more. And so we're well on our way. Hopefully we'll get all 14. All right. All 14 baseball coaches to join us to preview Sunbelt baseball. That is starting 3 weeks, if you can imagine it, 3 weeks from today. Unbelievable. Actually, not unbelievable, but exciting. We'll put it that way. All right. A few years back, we actually had, a handful of Sunbelt players making the Senior Bowl. I went to it in, I think, 24, right before I moved up here. I think Carter Bradley was in it that year, among others. But I'm not sure there was a player last year. I'd have to go look. But Ted Hurst from Georgia State absolutely deserves it. He was there from the get-go. And now to injury or whatever reason, Devin Voisin, South Alabama's, I believe, all-time player in games, 67, is going to play his last and final college game in Hancock Whitney Stadium. I would call it the Bank. Jaden Voisin was a safety. Devin Voisin is a receiver, and kind of been like wide receiver you. Him and Caullin Lacy, who's also, by the way, playing in the Senior Bowl. That's why I said 2.5. Caullin Lacy played at Faith Academy and played 3 years at South Alabama. Maybe should have gone pro, but has played the last 2 years in Louisville. So he's coming home to play. So you got a local kid going to play in the Senior Bowl, which is pretty cool. But I say 2.5 Sunbelt players because Caullin was much more efficient, although he had some moments for Louisville in the last, more so this past season than 2 years ago. But good for Devin Voisin. All right, again, South Alabama has been playing D1 football for 14 years. Devin Voisin has played in 7 of those years. There's going to be the Devin Voisin wing of the locker room. he was a pleasure to cover. The only way, and sorry, Devin, the only way you could tell the difference between these two guys, they had the same hairstyle, same features. They are identical twins, is that Jaden, the safety, a little bit bigger upper body. All right, bigger arms, wider back, plays defense, right? So just a little bit. You could just see it just a little bit. So Jaden was a safety for South Alabama. So that gives Mobile fans, a chance to see a kid who's been there, forever. I think they've actually already started a landscaping business. They're already pocketing some money, which is a good business to have in Mobile. There are some gorgeous homes, especially on that side of town. Especially, and then you have all the older homes down where I lived, down towards downtown off of Dolphin Street. So that's a great business to be in. I think that's the case. But nonetheless, Devin Voisin, Ted Hurst from Georgia State, and Caullin Lacy. Again, Caullin sort of represented, probably going to play in the Louisville helmet, but very familiar with Hancock Whitney Stadium. I was going to say, I think Caullin Lacy, maybe I could see this. Caullin Lacy and Devin Voisin, I believe, were top 5 in receiving in the 23 season. They both were. They had an excellent year in 2023. Let's see if that is. Receiving, let's see here. Leaders receiving. All right. Caullin Lacy led with, well, maybe that's when Devin Voisin got hurt. So maybe I got to go back. Caullin Lacy led the Sun Belt with 91 receptions, 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns. So that's maybe why he should have gone pro that year. So let's go back to 22 and see where that would be. All right. Maybe not. Devin Voisin was 10th with 64 catches. I want to do catches. Devin Voisin was, there you go, 4th and 5th. Caullin Lacy had 65 catches. Devin Voisin had 64 catches. The thing is, Jalen Wayne had 58 catches that year. So he was the deep threat. Those guys kept on moving they kept on moving the sticks. So again, you had like 100, I get that right? Like almost like 190 catches between the two. That's 129 and 58. That's, oh my God. So that's crazy. Almost 190 catches between the 3 guys. So South Alabama had 3 guys in the top 10 in receiving. And Caullin Lacy was only a straight sophomore. And he was a running back in high school. And then he led, I got that right. So in 23, let me see, I want to make sure I got those numbers right here for you. Caullin Lacy led the conference he didn't lead it in receptions. So Khalib Hood from Georgia Southern led it in receptions, 101. Caullin Lacy was 2nd with 91, but Caullin Lacy had he led it in yards with over 1,300. So it'll be good for them to play in Hancock Whitney one more time. Way to go out in style. And again, no reason, just, Caullin Lacy could absolutely make the pros. I think Devin Voisin could absolutely make the pros. He catches almost everything. They both do. They're both probably going to be a slot thing. The thing is, Caullin Lacy, you put him in the slot, he's going to go by you, right? If you were playing a nickel back or a safety or, God forbid, a linebacker on Caullin Lacy in the slot, he's going to run right past you. Same for Devin Voisin for the most part, but Collin's a little bit quicker or faster than Devin Voisin. So good for the Sun Belt guys to play in the Senior Bowl. That is coming up, I believe, January 31st. All right, we're gonna figure it out on how to approach the baseball because I don't want to take away all of the basketball, So I'm got to look at the calendar on when I want to do that. So Monday, if the game's played, it'll probably be, a basketball recap. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, we can do baseball coaches. Thursday, we want to do some preview. Friday, do we want to recap and preview? So we're going to do this on the weekends as well. And I'm going to try and get everybody in, obviously. And I'd like to get them in before the season starts. So if we only do it Monday through Friday, then I got to do 14 coaches in 15 days. I'm not probably going to do that. So we'll probably start this weekend. So be on the lookout. Again, I got Ford Pemberton from ULM, Mike Silva from Arkansas State. I got Chris Finwood from ODU and my guy Mark Kelvey from South Alabama. So we're looking forward to bringing you those interviews. And I got 3 more set to go. And the thought process is, could be wrong, but the thought process, the schools will see, hopefully, that those coaches have hopped on, and will get back to me and get the other coaches that have not agreed to a time yet to come on again. Easy for me to do it on my day off, but can always do it in the evenings right after practice if they want to do it then. So it's not that long. So do appreciate it. And thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to Locked On Sunbelt. Be sure to look into that Every Dare Club if you want to bypass those ads. It's good for you guys. We're going to see if we can maybe do some Discord. Probably should do that with a Marshall ball game. And that Troy game this weekend, I believe, or maybe in a couple weeks. I got to find that out. Troy has been elevated to it may be Troy versus Akron. Troy versus Akron has been elevated to, I think, ESPN2. So that ball game got the nationally televised spot instead of Marshall, Miami. Miami could be undefeated. And now they're going to see that Marshall hit 26 threes. Goodness. We'll see if that all works out that way. All right, again, thank you so much for tuning in. You've been watching Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Have a great Friday. Please be safe this weekend. Have some fun in the snow if you've never seen it, never been there. But at the same time, please be careful. There's expected ice on the way as well. All right. We will talk to you again on Monday.